Welcome back to the channel. I got my DJI Mavic Air Flame Red in the mail, and I've got everything charging up over here, getting ready to take it out for its first maiden voyage. I got my controller being charged up over here. I got my batteries over here on the side being charged up. So just about ready to get things going. I got all 7 of the manuals that came with the DJI Mavic Air, and we're going to go through each one of these page by page, line by line, and dissect this information. Yeah, that ain't happening, guys. Let's get out here and fly this thing. Boom! Hey, welcome back to the channel. You guys didn't really think I was going to sit there and do a whole unboxing for the next 2 hours, did you? So I got the Mavic Air Red. We're outside, ready to give it its first maiden voyage flight. So let's see what we got. Okay, I think that's it for today's testing, the maiden voyage of the Flame Red Mavic Air. Successful flight. Let's head back inside and we'll discuss a few things. And boom, welcome back. Okay, had a very successful maiden flight voyage for the Mavic Air, and very happy with everything that went on today. I didn't have any issues. I did want to mention one thing real quick. I did all my firmware updates last night, and today is February 9th, 2018, and as of this morning there was a new firmware update. It's I'll put it here. Actually, I'll just put it on the whole screen because it's going to be pretty big. So the first thing I want to mention, as soon as I launched my Mavic Air today, even after doing updates last night and making sure everything was up to par, the remote controller, all the batteries, because they're intelligent batteries, got to do the firmware updates with every battery. As of this morning, today, February 9th, 2018, there's a new firmware update, version 01.00.200. Very important. The reason that I mention it, as you can see here, it's there was some very specific issues addressed that had to do with some shaking that people had been reporting with their Mavic Air. As the device was taking off, more specifically, it would appear to be in cold weather, it would actually shake quite a bit. And there seemed to be a workaround. If you let it warm up for a while in the extreme cold, it would seem to resolve itself. It appeared to have something to do with the IMU. So it appears from what I'm reading here that this firmware update that came out today, it's both an aircraft firmware update and a remote controller firmware update. If you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about the 5th bullet point down, it improved takeoff performance and dampen a shaking phenomenon experienced by some aircraft during takeoff. So there were a significant number of updates made with this release, so I did want to mention it in the video. Came out today. I wasn't going to do anything about firmware updates. I really just wanted to do the Maiden Voyage launch of my Mavic Air. Like I said, I had a great time. But read through this and take a look at it. I'll put the link below so you can just click on it and check it out. There were a significant number of updates made to this, so I don't want to waste your time going through all of them, but like I said, it was significant. And at the bottom there's a comment that says, let me just pull it up here a little more clearly. Please note the firmware update may reset various main controller settings, such as return to home, altitude, and maximum flight distance, factory defaults. So even if you've set out everything, your firmware update is going to go ahead and reset, it appears, all the settings you may have already put in there. So go check this out, especially if you make the update. But like I said, it does resolve some significant issues that I think people had been reporting. I just had a chance to fly this today. Very impressed with the overall performance. I'm happy that I had purchased it. Two real quick things that I did want to mention. Because this has a 3-axis gimbal, there's a protective cover on the front. And because I'm a previous Spark owner, I guess I'm just not used to it. So when I'm getting everything set up, be aware and conscious to remove the protective cover of the gimbal, because I myself had almost forgotten it on 2 occasions when filming some of this video. The other thing I wanted to mention was in the back here where your SD card goes, and I'm not sure if it's going to be all that clear or in focus at this point, but in the back here, if I can get this, where your SD card goes, this latch, especially if you're, like I said, a Spark owner, opening up the back, it's a little more tedious than what was on the Spark, so just FYI. And the access to the SD card, getting your finger in there and your thumbnail or fingernail in there to get that SD card in is a little tedious, a little more so than a Spark, just a heads up. And the last thing, that was it. It was actually 3 things. One more thing was, don't forget to pull down the arms when they extend on the Mavic Air. These little pieces on the end here are where your antennas are, which have a lot to do with how your Mavic Air is going to perform. and receive the signal from the remote controller. So again, being a Spark user, it wasn't intuitive, wasn't instinct for me to pull these down after I had opened up the wings. The front ones fold back, the rear ones actually collapse downward, making this a very compact, very nice drone. And the one other thing I noticed, the factory default appears to be on these Mavic Airs to store your footage to the 8 gig internal storage. So when I did initially launch this, I got the warning message that the internal card was full, and did I want to change the settings to the micro SD card that I had inserted in the back here, which of course I did. So I selected yes, and everything then went to the memory card. But by default, it appears that it stores first to the internal card. So I couldn't find a setting within the DJI Go 4 app to change that. But like I said, at this point, it appears to be looking at the micro SD card that I inserted. So I think that was it for today. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed the videos. I'm extremely happy with everything, and stay tuned. We'll have some more both Spark, because people have asked, both DJI Spark and Mavic Air footage coming up in the near future. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you think about subscribing. If you have subscribed, thank you very much, and enjoy your weekend.